one of the things, though, whether you're going to the MAGA rallies or protesting or what have you, is we've got COVID
Yeah, it's still
problems.
here.
It's back.
Yeah,
It's back.
never left.
How are you coping
It's
with it?
never. The only thing I keep reminding people is like this isn't a second wave or a third wave. We're still on the first wave. We never hit this downtrend at all. And what you're seeing, I keep looking to other countries. What are other countries doing, and what are because we're behind other countries. We're behind Korea and China and Canada and stuff. They start like this and they go like this, and then they reopen everything, and then it kind of goes up. They shut down again, but they keep it down. And so we never did that. We never quarantined properly in any state. I don't feel like there's some states that were successful, but because it's so rampant that they can't control it. Right now we have I think 42 states that are close to hospital capacity, if I'm not mistaken. There's 49 states who are just trending red. The only state that's like semi-orange is Vermont, and their population isn't that dense. So it's scary, and it's way scarier than it was in March. And unfortunately, Trump poisoned the well, so to say. He came out and basically half the country doesn't even believe it's real on some level. So Biden's going to have to he's going to have to hit the ground running, but he's also dealing with opposition because he's going to be dealing with people who don't want to listen to what he thinks is best moving forward.
Yeah, and we're in Illinois. Yesterday, 15,000 people
Yeah.
tested positive.
Yeah.
50, and I don't think any state. I don't know if New York on its worst day ever hit 15,000, but it's scary. Our hospitals are overcrowding, and it didn't have to happen.
No.
Go back to April, go back to May, go back to March, when people talked about there'd be a second wave, and I kind of said to myself, I'm not sure if you thought the same thing. I'm like, well, quite frankly, if there's a second wave, that's our fault.
Yeah.
Because we know what we need to do to shut it down.
Yeah.
And one of the things that they say, part of the reason why it is so bad was that the first wave, you started at a baseline of 0, right? And the second wave, however, like you said, we might not even really be in a second wave, but we never got our baseline back down, right? So realistically, instead of starting at a baseline of 0, you're starting at a baseline of what maybe, as a nation, 80,000 infections a day. And then from 80,000, you go to 85,000. And from, that someone did some stats that Illinois in the first 2 or 3 weeks, the first 2 weeks of November, has had as many people as infected as we did in the previous 4 months.
Yeah, I believe it. Like I said, we never got control of it. We had an opportunity to follow other countries, and granted, the United States is big, and the people in Florida don't have to deal with the people in Montana, and I totally get that. But we saw in other countries where social distancing, masks, and lockdowns worked. Then they were able to open back up and a slight creep up, like you said, back to our baseline. And then, all right, let's shut it down again, and social distance again. And each single time that happens, it's lower and lower and lower to the point where you really have it under control. Korea one time had 3 cases and they shut everything down again. And that, like I said, that's the type of attitude we need locally and nationally. But we never got it from the beginning. And now we're fortunate to have a president who believes in the science, who's going to push forward. But he's not the president for another 3 months. So it's going to be interesting.
And I get so frustrated when I see people go after, we're in Illinois, Chicago metropolitan area. I'm in the suburbs, in the city. I get so frustrated when I see people coming after Lori and JB as if they're trying to ruin their businesses. Look, I know your businesses, especially people in food services and in restaurants and bars, you're suffering. And quite frankly, and there is a bill in Congress to do something for restaurants. And we need to make sure we have a stronger social safety net in this case, not just for individuals, but for small businesses so that they can afford to shut down. But the reality is that don't take it out on JB. Do not take it out on Lori. They are trying to save lives. They are literally trying to save lives. And the reality is that if you want your business back, a complete shutdown is much better, because if we keep half-assing it like we are, you're going to always be teetering. And even if you're open, Fady's not going. I'm not going. My parents aren't going. So your overall revenues are going to be down. I've always wondered, for some of these folks, is it possibly better, especially if we can get them some type of assistance, is it possibly better to stay shut down and not have the expenses? Because I would assume that, granted, you're losing money, but I wonder if you're losing more money by opening up, because you do have to turn on lights, you have to use your utilities, you have to have product in, and are you gonna have enough business, right, to cover your costs, or are you kind of better just sealing it off for a while?